once we'd won it kind of sunk in then that we'd done all the hard work on the training pitch and we just had to execute while we were there. Obviously I didn't take a penalty, but the lads that did, stood up and hit the target. That's all we can ask for, is pick the spot, stick to the spot, and if the keeper saves it, then he's made a good save, because penalty shootouts, we all know how difficult they are, and to come through as the winners is it's so satisfying for us.
I mean, you mentioned the preparations there. We've heard this morning about Jordan Pickford having the notes on his water bottle about which way the Colombian penalty takers were going to go.
Yeah.
Can you give us any other ideas of just how extensive that preparation has been for the squad?
I think it's, we want to just cover all bases that we can, take advantage of. I didn't know that Pix had the names on his bottle, but it's what works for him, and he pulled off a great save to help us get through. And I think it's about covering all the bases and making sure that we're taking in every detail to give us the best advantage to win every game. And that's down to the staff, down to the players putting in the hours on the training pitch, and we can look back on the previous game and take a lot of things from it, a lot of positives and a lot of confidence to go into this Sweden game. And we know we've still got things to improve on, but that's the exciting thing about us. We want to keep improving, keep getting better at everything we can, and obviously try and take that into the next game.
How rough was it coming up against Colombia? I mean, 6 bookings, a lot of intimidation for you guys. What did you make of them and their tactics?
For me, it was probably one of the game was so strange. Probably the dirtiest team that I've ever come up against, in the respects of when we won a penalty, surrounding the referee, even pushing the referee, the headbutt that I'm sure you've all seen, scuffing the penalty spot, a lot of off the ball stuff that I'm sure you've not heard about. All the sort of things that you don't really hear in a football match. And I think on our behalf it shows massive character from us to keep a cool head and not get sucked into their game. I think when you play against a team like that want to fight, want to disturb your momentum, you can sometimes get dragged into it, and that's what they want. We stuck to our plan and kept playing our way of football. And for me, that's a great sign for a team to have, that sort of quality to make sure that we still have that tunnel vision of what we want to get out of the game and stick to our game plan. And that's it was a difficult situation to be in, and one that we've overcome and can look back on and be very proud of.
It took its toll injury-wise, I think, as well, and physically on a lot of players who had bumps and bruises. Obviously, you've had a training session today we haven't seen.
No.
What can you tell us about it? Was everybody out there? Is everybody okay?
Yeah, everyone's out there. I think it's expected after playing extra time and then taking it to penalties, but that's the hard work that we did at St George's Park, and we knew that there's always a possibility that can happen. We've got to kind of take it on the chin and go back into training tomorrow all fresh, make sure that we get recovered and on to the next one.
Was Jamie Vardy out there? Because we know he's got a groin problem.
Yeah, Vards was the only one actually that wasn't in training. Bit more of a precautionary thing, but I think from speaking to him, he's fighting to get out back on the training pitch and be ready for the next game.
You'll know, John, there's a bit of hysteria going on back at home. There's a heat wave going on, and a lot of people seem to think that England are going to win this World Cup. What do you think?
I've said it from the start. I'd love to win the World Cup. I've dreamt about it, and that's what we want to do. We want to make. We've come here to try and win it. I said before the tournament has started that if we come here just to get through the games and see what happens, and there's no point in just doing that. You're just taking part and not looking to have something there that you can go and take with both hands and try and win it. And you know, I'd love to win a World Cup. England would love to win a World Cup. It's been a long time since we last won it, and you know, we want to make people proud back home and the nation proud of the England team. And you know, we're one step closer to doing that, but still know that we've got games ahead of us and should be solely focused on this Sweden game one step at a time and take it from there. But as I say, the dream's there, and I think why not?
I don't know if you realise how popular Gareth Southgate's becoming back home as well. I mean, have you seen the trend on Twitter at the moment for Gareth Southgate would?
No, I've not.
It seems that everybody realises what a nice guy he is now, and they've got him saying that, you know, Gareth Southgate would give up his seat on the bus even if he was 8 months pregnant. Things like that. It's hilarious, but it's the England fans buying into it, realising something that you probably know. What is he like?
He's a very genuine guy. I'm sure you'd say the same about him from speaking to him. And there's a fine line of where a manager's got to be have his football brain in gear and talk about football and know when we're working, and then know about when we should relax. And you know, he balances that, you know, as good as anyone I've seen, and that's credit to him. I think he's brought in a lot of new ideas since 2 years ago now when he first came in, and we're seeing the results of those, you know, those ideas, the togetherness of the team, the spirit, the hunger for spots. These are all things that us as players have bought into, and what he's implemented. And as I say, it's credit to him. And you know, the more time we work together on the training pitch, or you know, overcome games like we did the other day, you know, it's only going to get stronger. And it takes time, but you know, he's a great manager and a great human being as well.
That's one from me. What do you reckon about Sweden then? Is it easier or tougher than Colombia?
There's no easy games. I think if you say it's an easy game in a quarter-final of a World Cup, you know, you're stupid to say that. They've got a lot of quality, a lot of resilience as a team. They play very structured from the back, sit quite deep from what we've seen, and we know what we're up against. I think they sometimes can throw you these teams and say kind of go under the radar, but you know, there's no question that they're a good team. They wouldn't be where they are if they weren't. You know, so we will show them the respect that we do to every team, and you know, we've still got a few days till the game, but do our research on them. You know, make sure we can get every opportunity and to take advantage of every opportunity. You know, and see where it takes us.
John, David Ornstein from the BBC. You said there were a number of things that we didn't know about what happened on the pitch the other night. Can you explain what we didn't know about?
I'd rather not. I reckon it could get me in a bit of trouble. But yeah, you'd seen from the game, from the clips that I'd not even seen the incident with Raheem, with one of their staff. You know, sometimes games like this, well, I've never seen a game like this before, and how they behaved. I thought there could have been several red cards in that game from what happened, mainly off the ball stuff. And you know, if those sort of things happen, if the referee sees the headbutt, it's a totally different game. Things that you know, as I say, I don't want to really say, but things that we've never experienced before, and it was just so surprising to even, you know, come across those things that were happening.
Would that explain the images we've seen of you running away in celebration, looking back at Barrios?
I've seen that. I was celebrating to the bench. You know, it's kind of come across a bit wrong, but I think the best thing for us was to beat them at football. That's the biggest thing that'll hurt them. You know, they're back on the plane going home now, and we're through to the next round, and I think that's something special for us because, as I said before, we stuck to our game plan. Never kind of got into the brawl of what they wanted, and to beat them at football is, you can't do anything better than that, and that'll hurt more than us getting into a scrap or they've sent one of our players off. At the end of the day, they're back on the plane now, and we're still here.
There's been a lot of talk about whether they should be punished retrospectively, but more so what kind of message that sends out to, from the biggest tournament in sport, really, to younger people and observers all over the world.
I think that's down to their players. It's obviously their image and how they've represented their country. I can only speak on behalf of me and my teammates, and we're solely there to do our job and make sure. If I make sure that we can keep clean sheets and keep winning and keep progressing in the tournament, and as I said from weeks ago, we want to make people proud of England, of the England team, of the nation as a whole, and we've just got to keep playing football and keep trying to win games like we did the other day, and that's going to have an effect back home. People keep watching us, and we've seen the videos of thousands of people watching us back home, and to see that, and not, obviously we can't be there to experience it, but to see the support back home for us is massive.
In terms of your personal performance, you played very little during the season with Man City.
Do you think?
Compared to what you would have expected, I guess, or what you would have liked in terms of game time. But now you're the fulcrum of England's defence, and people saying that was possibly the best game they've seen you play, and going from strength to strength. What's this tournament doing for you personally?
I'm enjoying my football. I always say if I'm enjoying it, then you're going to get the performances and keep improving. And I'm just enjoying it and trying to keep getting better and keep listening to the managers and the players. I'm playing with best players in England, so it's going to have a massive effect on me, and I'm just trying to bring everything I can to the table, and what a better place to do it than a World Cup. Obviously, we've got a very competitive team in training, and there's a lot of competition for places. Gareth stuck with the same team as the first game, but I'm sure he's having a headache making those decisions, and it's great to have that competition. It keeps making you better as a player and keeps pushing you, and as I said, I thoroughly enjoyed the other night and want to keep improving. Just
finally from me quickly, we read that you, the players, when they got back, stayed up and shared the experiences and talked about it all. Has it sunk in that such history had been broken and the barrier of penalty shootouts had been conquered, and what an incredible achievement this is for you guys?
I think it started from after the game. The fans stayed in the stadium for God knows how long, an hour or so, maybe longer. And to go back out and spend a bit of time with them was kind of the first memory that we've made this tournament, and obviously getting back on the plane and we're still speaking about it, still buzzing, and it was a great feeling, and one that you wish you could bottle up and save it for a rainy day, but it's great to be a part of the team that's making history, as you said, with the penalties, and not sure what else we've broke, but it's definitely great to be a part of, and we want to keep doing these things and keep setting new standards for ourselves, and the barriers there to be jumped over, and I suppose we can do that in this tournament, and we want to do that.
So John, were you like so many other fans? Could you sleep after that?
No, I didn't get to sleep until about 7 o'clock the next morning when we landed back, so you kind of still keep reliving it in your head. such an array of emotions, and going from such a high to, I can't remember what minute in the game it was, to getting that corner and then conceding was difficult to take, and knowing that we had it in the palm of our hands to go through to the next round. Conceding late was was a big blow. Don't want to hide the fact that it's never easy to take those situations in and move on from that. But having saying that, doing that, going into extra time, we just had clear heads and knew what the job, what we had to do, and what was in front of us. So to overcome that, and obviously be sat here speaking to you guys now is something we can look back on in the future.
I think many will hope you take the positives from that performance, because it was an impressively strong performance from the back three. So many people have talked about that being England's weak area. For the three of you, how much do you take from that victory? How chuffed were you when he came off with that win? It's got to be a massive confidence boost.
No, definitely. We knew the firepower that they had. Falcao was a proven goal scorer. Right until the 94th minute, you never know when he can pop up and score a goal. So we had to be concentrating for all the full game, and very proud to be able to say we've got through to the quarterfinals, and proud to say that I've done it with the guys at the back as well. Harry, Walks, Picks, everyone pulled the weight, and such a great game to do it in. As I said before, to overcome that adversity, I suppose, in how they'd played against us and what they did and tried to spoil the game. And as a defender, it's special to take out of that. Obviously, conceding the goal wasn't too pleased, but yeah, it's definitely a really encouraging performance, and as I say, very proud of it.
I think the one thing that everyone reflects on later, after the penalties, after everything else, was how cool you all were in what you're saying are extraordinary circumstances. Who were the people saying, we can't lose this? Who kept all of your calls? Because quite a young side, a newly formulated back three. At what point did you say, we can't let them get in our heads?
Straight away when the final whistle, we were lined up on the halfway line actually, and I remember thinking I didn't want to be going home on that flight the next day. So we were saying just stay confident, stay calm, and pick your spot. We let the lads walk up and do the job, and there was a lot of movement from their behalf, and if you watch it back, they were kind of saying a lot of things to us while the lads were walking up to take the penalties. So the lads that kept a cool head, it's credit to them. But all throughout really, we knew that it wasn't over, so we didn't want to be going home, and there was a lot of talk about it in the huddle after the final whistle. It's our time now. We've practiced, we've done all the hard work, and stay confident. As I said, I didn't want to be going home on that flight the next day.
What did Gareth say to you ahead of that, the penalties?
I couldn't tell you, to be honest. I was kind of in a bit of a bubble. I think I was getting a massage actually. I was cramping up everywhere, and just remember if it was when it was my turn to walk up to the penalty spot, where I was going, and just trying to execute the skill, I suppose, of putting it in the back of the net. So yeah, it was a strange feeling, to be honest. One that I've not been in before, and just tried to keep a cool head. And as I said, really couldn't remember what Gareth said.
Can I get you to answer this with just yes, no, and pass, and then I don't think I get you in trouble?
Okay.
The things that were happening that we haven't seen, were they physical?
Yes.
And verbal?
Yes.
And were they, the physical, were they able to impede the progress of the players on the pitch?
In what respect?
Did it stop them, what they were doing to the players? Was it affecting how they would play?
No.
But potentially, if it's physical, it can.
Yes.
My point being, England have an attractive attacking side this year. It means we have set pieces, and the players are using your opponents, everything to stop that. Have you got a message for how England would like to be able to play? Do you need to be protected to allow your qualities to come through in this World Cup?
Is this still a yes or no?
You can answer this one now, but you need to know, is there a fear at the moment that England can't play to their qualities and to their strengths that you do all finally have on this world stage?
I think Gareth, lets us express ourselves, and that's a massive thing as a footballer. Sometimes you can get bogged down with too many messages from staff, players wanting you to do things, wanting you to play certain passes, and you can't really express yourself. So, Gareth gives us that freedom, and that's a massive thing as a player, to be able to be free on the pitch and enjoy your football and make sure that you can go out there and express yourself. And as you can see, a lot of the lads are doing that, and I think that's why we've been successful so far. Going on to onto the attacking players, and for them being able to express themselves, it's down to their individual ability and their flair, and we've got that in abundance. So it's special to watch those boys up top go out and have fun and make sure they can affect a game and enjoy it, and that's down to the manager again, allowing us to do that.
But does the officiating of the game need to allow England to play? Because at the moment, from what you're telling us, that's not happening. You're being constrained.
Yeah, I suppose you can say that, because from my point of view the other night, there was a lot of decisions that weren't, that shouldn't have been called, or a lot of decisions that were missed, and that they're major factors in a game. And it was how Colombia played, I suppose, as well. But as we said, there's a lot of key moments in the game that could have been pulled up, and could have been a different game. But at the end of the day, we came out winners, and that's all that matters to me.
Was that success to Gareth, or is he demanding more from you?
Yeah, always demanding more. We demand more from ourselves as well. We always know we can do better, and as I said before, that's the exciting thing about us, wanting to learn and wanting to improve as a team, and knowing where we can improve is what's going to make us better and hopefully take us through the tournament.
Maradona accused England of dirty tactics in that game. FIFA have somewhat pushed back on him, but what's that like to hear him talking of England as a real threat in this tournament?
Yeah, it's obviously it's great to hear it from him. I know he's not our biggest fans, and obviously knocked us out a few years back. But it's great. We're quietly confident and know what we can do in our own ability. So it's nice to hear it from the outside, I'm sure, but it's knowing within. I think knowing that the guy next to you's got your back, and so on and so forth. That's the main thing that matters. That we all know, and we're all focused on what's asked of us, and knowing each other's abilities as well.
The accusation of England using dirty tactics doesn't sound like you had any choice but to stand up for yourself. And also, who were the people that said it's got to be calm heads, boys, now, when they headbutted Jordan Henderson, when the rest of it, who kept you all calm? Who were the leaders?
I couldn't put a finger on one person. I think that's the great thing about it. There's 10, 11 leaders out on the pitch. I think if you could get a clip of us running back after the penalty, you can all see everyone speaking to each other, all giving the same message of keep a clear head. Let's not get sucked into what they're trying to do, and I think that's a special thing special thing for a team to have. 11 leaders out on the pitch, all with a clear head after what happened, and it's a special thing.
Okay, we've got 4 more to wrap up the live broadcast.
Hello,
Yeah.
John Miguel Ángel Moreno from the Spanish news agency EFE. You're facing Sweden. It's a very good defensive team. And I would like to know which are your options to attack them. How you're going to face this game?
I think how we faced every game, wanting to play the football that we've been playing, trying to get the attacking players on the ball, creating a lot of chances, and it's a difficult question, as easy as it sounds, you know.
I mean, because Germany struggled a lot with them.
Say again, sorry.
Germany struggled in the group phase, struggled a lot with them.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, that's a point that I said before. You know, you can't think it's an easy game. There's no easy games, and they're a top team, so we've got to attack it as we have done, and show them respect that we have done in every other team. But be confident in our own ability that we've shown in these games. We've created a lot of chances, took a lot of chances as well. You know, so we've just got to go and show our own identity, which we've, you know, we're all clear on now. Playing with that freedom as well is important. So, you know, we've got to take a lot of positives from the games and look to improve on that and focus on ourselves. We can't focus on Sweden too much.
And are you afraid to depend too much in Harry Kane?
Sorry?
Are you afraid to depend too much in the attack on Harry Kane?
Do you think we're dependent on Harry Kane?
I think so. So I wonder if you think the same.
Not all, no.
Next question.
John, there's been a lot of buzz around everywhere, and social network and everywhere, even from Brazil. I'm from Brazil. I would like to ask you, what are your feelings and thoughts, and if you can share the feelings and thoughts of the other players when you listen and when you read that football is coming home?
We'd like to bring it home. As I said before, it's great to see the support back home, and you know, everyone's getting behind us in the thousands, and you know, I'm getting videos and pictures from my friends back home watching the game in the pubs, you know, wherever they are in the country, and to know there's that support. We're in a bit of a bubble here. We can't really get out and socialise, and we, you know, have to do it over the phone. So to be able to experience that from where we are here and through our friends is massively important to us. And you know, we love getting the videos through of everyone celebrating in wherever they are watching the game. It's, you know, it's kind of home from home, and we want to keep performing and keep making those nights for the people back home.
And you played Belgium a week ago. You played Brazil back in November of last year, I guess. Brazil and Belgium are playing tomorrow in the quarterfinals. What are your thoughts on this match?
Very tough game. 2 top teams going at it, you know, against each other. It'll be an exciting game to watch, and as I said, 2 top teams, a lot of quality on the pitch. And if I had to call the score now, I couldn't tell you what it'd be. It's that's the surprise of the World Cup, I suppose, and it's exciting as a player to watch those games and watch who goes through to the next round and who you could possibly get. But as I said, you know, it's a massive game and very exciting.
Not calling a score, but at least a winner?
Sorry?
You're not calling a score for the match tomorrow, but at least a winner, would you?
I couldn't tell you.
Right, guys, 2 quick ones to end at the back, and then we'll move on to the embargoed section.
Hi, John. I'm sure you've seen the story of the children in Thailand trapped in a cave fighting for their lives.
Yeah.
In fact, one of them was even wearing an England shirt. So you've talked there about making everybody back home proud.
Yeah.
It must say a lot about this side that it extends to even those in those circumstances. And do you maybe have a message for them as well?
No, definitely. We were literally at dinner before speaking about it, a few of the boys, and you know, it brings it home what people's situations are at the minute, and you know, it's so sad to see where they are, and we're hoping and wishing that they get out safe and sound, and they won't see this, but we, you know, everyone, their friends and family, all of the boys, all of the England squad, all our thoughts are with them. So we want to see them get out safe and sound.
Hi John, Sam Lee from Goal. Last season I remember you saying you picked up some Spanish to help contribute and communicate with your teammates. Have you picked up any insults, and did they come in handy on Tuesday night?
Definitely not, no.
Weren't giving anything back?
No. We didn't want to, not go to their level, but react in that way. And as I said, you can get dragged into those situations too easily and kind of bite. And we didn't want to do it. We stuck to the game and stuck to our game plan. And wanted to execute in every position we could.
And just a quick one: have you spoken to Pep in the last couple of weeks or in the last couple of days?
Yeah, he texted me before the tournament and sent me his best wishes, and it's nice that he said he'd be watching all the games, and I'm sure he will be.
Okay, guys, that's the end of the live section of the press conference questions until 10 p.m. UK time this evening. We'll start.
Hi John, Steve from AP. Following on from Sam's question about Pep, he obviously had a significant impact on Spain and Germany's World Cup winning squads. Has there sort of been a Pep effect on the England squad this year? And can you also talk about sort of how he's improved your game just sort of over the last couple of years?
I think going to the Pep effect, as you said, he's definitely had it on. Obviously, this us City boys, and we've tried to bring in what we've learnt off from him to the England squad, and kind of just bring in a fresh idea of not on the whole game, obviously, on certain aspects of things, and everyone does that from the clubs, from their managers, and that's why I think we've got a great combination of players. And on a personal note, he's, I've said it to you guys many of times. I wouldn't be here without what he's done for me over these last 2 years, as a player and as a person. I think I've come on leaps and bounds. If you look at me, even from Christmas time to the end of the season, I thought I've improved massively again. That's from down to his dedication and how much he wants us to improve as players, and how much he wants us to improve as well. It's a massive thing for me personally. From since I came, always had the right things to say to me, and simple things. That's what's important, is not flooding your mind and overloading you with too much information. Giving you the right amount and making everything simple, and it's simplified my game as well.
John, after the game, Gareth suggested that this England team as a group are a lot more streetwise and street savvy than teams of previous teams. Can I get your reflection on that, your view on that? And English players in general of the past have been deemed to be perhaps too honest. Do you think that's changed and progressed?
Yeah, definitely. I think football's evolved as a whole, and definitely now the game's changed from 4 years ago, and different personnel obviously, but the guys have got so much talent and so much football knowledge that I wish I had that at their age, some of the younger guys than me. But yeah, definitely a very clever team, I'd say, in the respect of knowing when to do certain things in games where we've just conceded, and we go and, well, I've played a ball right into the corner, put the pressure right back on them, and we're in their half of the pitch. Things like that definitely we're a clever team, and have come on leaps and bounds over these 2 years working with Gareth.
In terms of just specifically winning free kicks, when you are actually fouled, teams of the past maybe try to stay on their feet, but do you think you guys are a bit more savvy to that?
Yeah, definitely. I think sometimes I wouldn't know being that high up the pitch, but the boys know when they're in a situation that they can't get out and look to buy a foul, and I think that's clever play. I've been on the end of clever players getting the body in between me and the ball and getting fouls from me, and you know, sometimes you can't complain, and the lads are very clever. I say clever, I think it's having a great footballing brain, knowing when to do that without being, you know, called a cheat and diving. I don't think there's one in our team that do that or want to do that, and being clever and buying a smart foul is something that the team that we have got as a team, and it can help us through the tournament.
John, I was just wondering if you could speak about the impact you think England's progress here and how you're all being treated back home will have on players who aren't at the tournament, who've maybe missed out on being in the squad. Do you think it will serve as greater motivation for them when they get back with the club sides in pre-season?
Yeah, definitely. I've been on that end of, you know, I've been in that situation 4 years ago. Obviously, coming, I played in Miami, then had to fly home while the boys went off to the World Cup, and knew the hunger that I had. I wanted to be on that plane. Maybe naively saying that, because at the time I probably wasn't ready to do it, but having the opportunity to go there and be a part of it, and then having to go home and watch the boys on the TV was difficult.
But I mean, that tournament didn't go well. This tournament is going well,
yeah,
and the players are being hailed as heroes back home. So do you think that will serve to sort of underpin the motivation of players, maybe like a Ross Barkley who's missed out, Jack, Luke Shaw, to go back and want to be part of this in the future?
Yeah, definitely. I never doubt that they want to be a part of it, or never cut corners. You know, obviously know the boys on a personal level, and absolutely gutted that they didn't get the chance to come. But for everyone that obviously never makes an England team, it hurts, and kind of gives you that motivation to go away and work harder, as you said, to try and get back into the England squad. And I think it goes for us as well. You know, if we weren't here, we'd be in their position and knowing how it feels. And I think that's how humble the team is. You know, they know how other people are feeling and not selfish about what situation they're in. So yeah, definitely it'll make them more motivated and more hungry to get to the goals.
John, could you just tell us about you spotting Glenn Hoddle and what it meant to you to have a quick chat with him?
Yeah, I spotted Glenn running back over from my family. Yeah, I've seen him on the TV and never had the chance to meet him, and you know, he's always spoke very highly of me, which I appreciate a lot. So yeah, I wanted to go and speak to him, and obviously he was a top player as well. So when we got over to him, he said he wished he had the chance to play with me and Harry. He said, you know, likewise. So no, it was a really nice moment. He wished us all the best and wanted us to go on all the way. And you know, to hear that from someone like him is kind of hits home where you are and what position you're in and what chance you've got to affect things. So no, it was a special moment on a personal level.
John, in that system, do you feel, you sort of come across on Tuesday, Kyle is obviously still, you know, getting to grips with that system. You know, it's slightly unfamiliar. Harry's probably a little bit less experienced than you. You're playing in the centre. Do you feel more responsibility? Do you think you've grown as a leader? Do you feel more responsibility for that back three?
I think I've definitely grown as a leader. On the responsibility side, I think you've got to take responsibility as a player and of your teammates. You want to make sure that everyone's doing the job, and it's a difficult one. I think from me personally, I'm enjoying my football that much. I think it takes care of itself. Everything else kind of slots into place, and you know, I want to keep improving and keep becoming a better leader in my own way, and taking more responsibility, maybe off other people's shoulders. Say, for instance, if a young lad came into the team and it was his first cap, those sort of things, when you've played more football than they have, you know what kind of situation they're in. And I think as I play more games and as I become older, those sort of things will happen. But yeah, I'm trying to take ownership of my own game and be self-critical at times when I need to be, and make sure I enjoy it while I can. You only get one shot at it, and yeah, I'm definitely enjoying it. As I said, everything else should take care of itself.
John, Richard Tanner at the Express. The manager was saying how impressed he was that even when the chips were down in extra time, you know, when the pressure's really on, you continue to play it out from the back, from the keeper and you and your two defenders. How important is it you carry on doing that if you're to win this tournament? You know, and how comfortable are you doing it?
Very comfortable. I don't think I know how else to play, to be honest, and that's the identity that we've created for ourselves, is sticking to our game plan and how we play, and as I think it'll be vital as we progress in the tournament. Every team's got their own identity, and Sweden play different to us, play a lot more longer passes. You know, we like to build up from the back, and it's personal preference. I think we've worked on it that much and know our roles and responsibilities within the team. It's kind of instilled in us now that we should play like this and continue, because we know what results we'll get from it.
Okay, goes into final three now. James, all right? Jerry, you go first, James, and then we'll finish at the back.
Just a quick one. John, talking about the fans in the stadium, in the Spartak, they were outnumbered 10-1 by the Colombians. They put in a sterling performance on the terraces. They made themselves heard. At the end, very emotional scenes. A lot of the players came out and almost tried to personally speak to them. Can you just tell me what the impact that has on the players when you see these people who've come a long way from home, difficult circumstances as you were experiencing on the pitch? There's a real bond there seemed to be between those fans. How important are they to you? Would you like to see more of them now come out for the quarterfinals and further, hopefully?
Yeah, if they can, that'd be great. We all know that they're supporting from back home, wherever they are. So, you know, for the fans that were in the stadium, we wanted to show our appreciation and know that what they're doing by coming over and supporting us wherever we go. We know that wherever we go, there's England fans out in the numbers, so it kind of hits home that you know, I was still am a fan and know what it is to go to games, and they've come all this way and to see the team win, which we did at the end of the day. We gave them that joy, and seeing the smiles on their faces, we wanted to live that with them. Sing the songs that we don't get to usually do, and you know, enjoy that moment while it's there. Now we know we've got another job to do. Come on, lad, get out. You're not sitting, James Ellis. It's on TV.
John.
Sorry about that.
Hi. John, can I just ask you one about VAR? Gareth, you seem to have been one of the most savvy teams with VAR. Has it actually changed the way that you defend set pieces and attack, particularly corners? Obviously, you've scored from a corner already. Have you actually physically had to change the way that you mark players, that you attack the ball, and have you developed anything specifically, sort of set piece wise, with VAR in mind?
No, I don't think so. I think you know you're going to get pulled up if you foul off the ball or anything in that respect. I think nothing will be missed now, even though some things do go under the radar. One blatant one the other day, but in the respect of do we play different? Not at all. I think we've got to still have our our own beliefs and knowing what we do on the training pitch we bring into the games, but always have the I suppose little reminders in the back of your head that if you do create get a foul and it doesn't get seen, it could always get brought back from VAR, and it works both ways. I think in the opposition box, we've got a few penalties now that the referee has seen, but I remembered in the first game, I think it was, maybe second game, Harry's won the penalty, but at the same time I've been absolutely hauled to the floor, so if you didn't spot that, then it'd go to VAR and it'd be given as a penalty.
Okay, last one at the back.
Hi, Nicola Miri from Swedish Expressen. I just talked to my Swedish colleagues who talked to the Swedish players. They said that all the pressure is on England, and to advance on your expense would taste really well. How would you answer on that?
How would I answer? I think, well, they're playing it down, aren't they? So I think I've said before that we can't underestimate Sweden as a team. I think everyone's seen that now, and they're not going to be able to hide away from what qualities they've got. And we all know what qualities they've got. They're a good team, and we have to respect that and make sure that we do our research. As I've said, they wouldn't be where they are without quality and without having that hunger to get where they are. And that sounds like a good team to me. So we'll do everything we can to make sure we're fully prepared to play against them. As I've said, it's a difficult one because you want to say some things, but you can't. And I don't know how to answer to it. They're kind of putting all the pressure on us. They're in the same situation as us. They're in the quarterfinals. It'll be a great match. So that'll be it.
Okay, guys, it's been an epic one. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Thanks, John.